Mark Wahlberg, who I would say over the last 25 years has probably had one of the best careers in terms of outputs, money made, celebrity. If you're just talking about actors, he's what, in the top 6?
There's a
Who's
case
had
for
the
him as
best
one of the
career?
2 or 3 most successful movie stars of the last 20
Definitely.
years.
If you
Successful is a
stretch it
great
out
word.
over the 25 years, it's kind of uncanny. He also is weirdly like not aged.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Successful is a good word. And somebody who can do, he showed he can do comedy, he did action films, all this stuff.
Yep. Made a lot of movies that people really like to this day.
Our history with him in 1997, he was in Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Mhm.
He was Donnie Wahlberg's brother. He had one really good song, Good Vibrations, which I stand by as like one of the best
Okay.
summer songs
chill
of
out,
the early
Sinatra.
90s.
Nobody's trying to take
Can
good
you rap
vibrations
the
from you.
second verse of Good Vibrations right now?
Come on, come on. Feel it, feel it.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch had been from South Philadelphia. Do you think you would feel this way?
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't know where. I'd probably turned on them faster than others because they were from Massachusetts.
Okay.
He was a Calvin Klein underwear model. He was in Basketball Diaries with Leo in 95. And that was when it's like, wait, that's Marky Mark? He's in fucking Basketball Diaries? And that was like an important Leo movie. He had a little cachet
That
at that
was the
point.
movie that I was like, I can't believe it. Because I had read the Jim Carroll book and I was
Yeah.
like, I cannot believe this is happening. I
Right.
was so psyched for that.
And then he's in Fear
Yep.
in 1996, which was a successful movie.
When is
Caught
the
Reese Witherspoon at a good time.
Rosillo solo rewatchables on Fear happening?
That's going to be for the 300th
That's actually for
episode.
my birthday.
Yeah. But then becomes the lead of Boogie Nights.
When's Three Kings?
after this.
After.
After
Everything's after. So the big risk was the star of my movie is Mark Wahlberg. I'm telling you, in 1997, it was like, really? Mark Wahlberg's going to be the star? It felt like an asterisk coming out. And now it's 25 years later, he's like unbelievable in it. And I'm so glad he's the star. We did not feel that way in
How rare is
97.
it to have two guys who are at the center of your movie who at the time and in the future both had like serious misgivings about the film?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, I mean, I guess Don't Worry Darling is an example of that, but like for the most part, like the idea that Burt Reynolds and Burt Reynolds during the making of it, Mark Wahlberg in the years since, who was pretty reticent to talk about this movie. Like it does not align with his obvious, like his beliefs.
I got him for Grantland in 2014, I had him on the pod for 35 minutes and I snuck a couple Boogie Nights questions in. I think it was one of the first times he ever even
What was
talked
he
It's
about
like,
also
it.
one of
when
the
you brought him
last
up?
times he's talked about
He
it.
seemed excited to talk about PTA. But yeah, I think he definitely has not jumped over the couch to go talk about
He's
the
very spiritual now, and clearly like Christianity is a big part of his life and his family's life. And so I think that there is some embarrassment about the movie, even though he's proud of the movie, paradoxically. So our colleague and pal, Jeff Chow, and I were talking about this last night. There's like a big question about this performance in this movie to me, which is that is Mark Wahlberg bad or not? And if he's bad, is PTA leveraging his badness, or is it a self-aware bad performance? And he is, at this point of his career, sophisticated enough to give it. Because later in his career, Mark Wahlberg becomes a really good actor. He's got 2 Oscar nominations. He's in some great comedies. He's got range. He's a good action star. But at this time, with a very short resume, and playing a guy who's dumb and is a bad actor.
I've thought about this a lot.
I'm going the other way. I think he's like perfect.
So that's where Jeff and I landed.
I think so too. And I think if you put DiCaprio, who was it's the sliding doors thing. If you put DiCaprio in as Dirk, the mom scene and the it's my big dick, I'm ready to fuck scene are completely different. He's just like honestly way too good. Like, so he just changes the dynamic where like you watch Eddie in that scene with Jack specifically and you're like, this is really sad. Like you're kind of pathetic. You know what I mean? And I just think DiCaprio brings like so much interiority and like pathos to these kinds of parts. And Mark is kind of like, I'm banging my head up against the limits of my intelligence.
So, okay, but do you think that Mark knows that?
I don't know.
I'm on the other side. I think he actually knows what he's doing. I think that's why PTA threw so much stuff at him. Like he talks in the director's commentary stuff. Like I made Mark watch Exhausted over and over again so he could understand the beats of how
and he
to
does
act
stuff
like
like
a bad porn actor.
the scene in Rehad's like where he's like it's just the long shot of his face.
I think he's amazing in that scene. I think the case for him being a really good actor is 3 scenes. The scene with when Dirk's mom goes nuts on him and starts ripping the posters, and he gets so upset. I actually think he's like great in that.
I'm not stupid.
Why are you doing this to me? And it's like spits flying out.
This isn't your stuff.
I think the what state? State of California? I'm ready to shoot, Jack. That I think he's amazing in that. And there's the whole testosterone thing that we'll go into a part
conversation when we did Departed, where we were like, if Wahlberg as Costigan, and like what happens if you like are like putting him in that role, you know what I mean? Because in some ways it's not a similar role, but like it requires the same kind of like collapse at a certain point.
So the scene that convinced me that what you guys are saying is right, that I agree with, is actually a deleted scene. It's the long extended deleted scene between him and Luis Guzman.
Yeah.
Where they're shooting a scene from one of the Brocklanders movies.
Yeah. And
you can hear off screen PTA throwing lines at him, and that's sort of like Adam McKay. Like,
he
go back to that
in the director's commentary. He's like, I had two great actors. I just want to let it roll. Like, I feel like he genuinely believed that.
And he and Guzman are so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-minute deleted scene where they're just
it's in the
doing dialogue
right?
in the restaurant. And Wahlberg is genius at it. He's so good at the comic timing of that scene that you're like, oh, he's really good. Because you're seeing him like cut and go to the next take and do his process of acting, which we never see that.
Yeah.
He does another thing too, where he's so wide-eyed, innocent, and whatever in the first 40 minutes of the movie, but there's still that side of him where it's like, this guy's sizing me up. I wonder if he wants 5 or 10. Like, he's still a hustler.
If
he plays both of those sides, I think really nice. But then as his life starts escalating and he becomes like kind of ego, that's my dojo. And like, he hits that, and then as he starts to become like cokey and suspicious, and he meets Johnny Doe, and he's like, who's this? Like, he becomes like Wahlberg from Fear. I don't know. I thought he landed the plane. I was really impressed by him.
He's great. And it's also like, look, he does this movie, does Three Kings, it does I Heart Huckabees. Like, he was like a very, very, very discerning actor.
Taking chances.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Casting what ifs.
Maybe the greatest casting what ifs we've ever had.
We discussed it with him. Maybe we should just play that clip. We asked him, Leo or Mark Wahlberg, what happened? So we'll play that clip.
Leo versus Mark Wahlberg was the thing at one point, right?
No, there was no
urban legend.
That's urban legend. There was no VS Leo VS Mark, because Leo just didn't decided not to do the film.
Oh, so he just turned it down.
He did. But
that's one of the great what ifs in movie history.
I think it's for the best. That's my take. I rewatched it this week. I was like, Wahlberg's great.
He's amazing. Yeah. I think so,
I think
too.
It might be for the best, too. I don't know Leo as Dirk Diggler. It's a little different.
Yeah, I love Leo, and I loved him then because I was obsessed with Gilbert Grape, which John Riley was in. It was great movie. But backing up before that, This Boy's Life was this fucking amazing film, right?
That's when I bought all my Leo stock.
I was in.
I bought a little during Growing Pains because he had a couple great scenes with Kirk Cameron. I was like, who's this guy?
Wow, so you were in on the ground floor. I bought my Leo stock on This Boy's Life.
He went toe to toe with De Niro.
I know. And so from that point on, I was obsessed with him. But I think you're right. I think looking back, I mean, it's impossible to play this game. I hate playing it, but Mark was great and he was right. And I'd like to Leo and I will work together one day, and it'll be the right thing.
It's never happened, right?
No, but it will happen.
Come on, Leo.
This is the movie I have thought about the most with what if it was not just one person, but multiple people.
I think it worked out the best. I really do. I genuinely believe Leo in Titanic was the perfect, right, correct thing. And Wahlberg in this movie is the perfect, right, correct thing.
Chris's point was right on, which is especially in those emotional moments, those high tension moments, you just wouldn't have bought it as much with Leo.
I would have bought it too much almost.
It's just a different movie.
But you wouldn't have thought that
it's an awesome movie that I don't know if I would have loved quite as much.
That like loser, dumb guy quality that Wahlberg imparts in the character, Leo is like incapable of.
Yeah.